2, 1.
7 things you probably didn't know you need to know. I'm Jamie East, and this is the Smart 7.
Good morning, it's Monday the 8th of August and it's International Cat Day. And a big happy birthday to Dustin Hoffman, Shawn Mendes, The Edge and Roger Federer. With 4 weeks to go until we find out who will be the next Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak has been making headlines for all the wrong reasons. The Tory leadership candidate's in trouble again after a leak of a video which sees him promising to divert funds from deprived areas to wealthy Tory voting suburbs.
We inherited a bunch of formulas from the Labour Party that shoved all the funding into deprived urban areas. Then that needed to be undone.
His opponent, Liz Truss, has come under fire for her comments about not giving handouts to families facing spiralling fuel bills. Former leadership candidate and newly minted Liz supporter Penny Mordaunt took to Sky News to defend Miss Truss's remarks.
What she has, I think, rightly challenged is the wisdom of taking large sums of money out of people's pockets in tax and then giving some of it back in ever more complicated ways.
But Tory MP Damien Hinds doesn't share her feelings. He was out championing Rishi Sunak and took a swipe at Liz's plan.
This is a unique combination of the effects of the aftermath of COVID and Putin's aggression in Ukraine. In this unique set of circumstances, it may be necessary to do further things. And it's completely wrong to rule out that kind of direct support.
Elsewhere, the spiralling cost of fuel continues to dominate headlines, and Lord Howell of Guildford doesn't have much hope for either Tory leadership candidate. The former Energy Secretary has branded both Truss's and Sunak's plans to deal with the energy crisis completely inadequate.
It's no telling them, like Mary Antoinette, we've got wonderful long-term visions for you, nuclear in 15 years' time and so on. That's like saying, let them eat cake. I'm sorry, we want immediate action now, and that action is largely available.
Meanwhile, we could see the public take things into their own hands. A movement's growing called Don't Pay UK, where people are threatening not to pay their energy bills until prices are controlled.
Millions of people cannot afford to pay their bills this winter. So by trying to take this action collectively, we can put leverage by the amount of people we have to force the energy companies to go to government and say we need to take action on this issue. And I don't see any other way the government are going to be compelled to take action,
In Ukraine, fears are growing over the Russian military's actions near the country's Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant, with the UN's nuclear watchdog calling for an immediate end to the conflict and warning of a very real risk of a nuclear disaster. International Atomic Energy Agency Chief Rafael Mariano Grossi said he was extremely concerned by reports of shelling at Europe's largest nuclear power plant.
I have a technical mission there, which is to ensure the safety of the plant, the security of the plant, and to perform what we call the safeguards, the inspections of the nuclear material which is there.
Ukrainian's President Volodymyr Zelensky called Saturday night's shelling Russian nuclear terror that warranted international sanctions on Moscow's nuclear sector. But it was another case of finger-pointing as to who was responsible for the attack, with Ukraine blaming Russia and Russia blaming Ukraine. Meanwhile, General Sir Richard Barron spoke on Sunday, explaining what it might mean if it starts to look like Ukraine's winning the war.
That is cataclysmic for his hold on power in Russia. And at that stage, we absolutely have to think about that under Russian military and political doctrine, they will be tempted to reach for the small nuclear weapons to stop the fight in Ukraine.
The yeas are 50, the nays are 50. The Senate being equally divided, the Vice President votes in the affirmative, and the bill, as amended, is passed.
That was US Vice President Kamala Harris breaking the tie and finally passing Joe Biden's signature piece of legislation. The Inflation Reduction Act's a much smaller version of the original $3 trillion Build Back Better plan, but it will have significant impact on both the US deficit and programs like Medicaid and climate change. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says the $740 billion bill marks a significant moment.
Today, after more than a year of hard work, the Senate is making history. I am confident the Inflation Reduction Act will endure as one of the defining legislative feats of the 21st century.
Still to come, Man United's shock defeat to Brighton, and the Lord of the Rings director Peter Jackson's been ghosted. Right after this. Welcome back.
This weekend saw the Premier League roar back into action even earlier than usual as the World Cup will force a pause in November. First up, Arsenal beat Crystal Palace on Friday night and Man City new boy Erling Haaland got 2 goals on his debut to see City beat West Ham. The big game of the weekend saw the brand new Man United manager Erik ten Hag facing Brighton at Old Trafford. It didn't go well. United were lucky to lose 2-1 and the new regime at Old Trafford doesn't look much better than last season's disaster. Brighton's manager Graham Potter wasn't exactly complaining.
We've got a good group, like I said before the game. It's ambitious. Guys want to do their best. They're not perfect, but they give everything. And when you're a coach, you've got a chance.
Have you ever been ghosted? Well, don't worry, it happens to the best of us. Even Oscar-winning director Peter Jackson's received the silent treatment from none other than Prime Video. The director of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit trilogies has revealed that he was asked to be involved in Amazon's upcoming mega-budget series The Lord of the Rings of Power, but speaking on the Business podcast, he explained what happened next, or more like what didn't happen next.
They asked me if I wanted to be involved in it right up the front, and I said to them, it's an impossible question to answer without seeing a script because they were doing a script, so that wasn't going to be us. And so they said, as soon as we get the first couple of scripts, we'll send them to you to look at. And the scripts never showed up. It was the last thing I heard.
If you've been waiting for a Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson reunion, now is your moment. From the director of In Bruges and 3 Billboards, Martin McDonagh's The Banshee of Inisherin sees the 2 Irishmen back together in a sweet and sad comedy-flecked drama about the abrupt ending of a lifelong friendship.
If you don't stop talking to me, Colin, and if you don't stop bothering me, I have a set of shears at home, and each time you bother me from this day on, I'll take those shears and I'll take one of my fingers off with them, and I'll give that finger to you until I have no fingers left. Does this make things clearer to you? Not really, no. Starting from now.
This has been The Smart 7. Wherever you're listening, do us a favour and hit the follow button. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Have a great day.
Written, produced and published by Daft Doris.